Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Practical Astrology for You. This is a real quick update on Cristiano Ronaldo. Some of you may have waited for an update for a very long time. I do apologize. There was lots going on and still is, to be honest, but I just thought I'd squeeze in a little update here. Because a lot of things have happened since I last posted a video. So, right, let's get into it straight away. We see here his natal chart, inner wheel, outer wheel, all the current transits, the planetary positions. Okay, so obviously he did leave his old club, Manchester United, after quite a big scandal and a lot of public backlash and lots of headlines. He did the interview with Piers Morgan, uncensored interview, and he complained about the really bad conditions at the club and various problems with managers and executives, and yeah, basically loads of issues. And the end of the story was that it was just better for both sides to end the contract, which is why he now finds himself in Saudi Arabia playing in the league there. So that's obviously a big, quite a big change, but there's also it has not immediately brought about a change when we just talk about form. He had been struggling for quite a while, not really scoring any goals, like missing lots of good opportunities. He seemed, it didn't seem to be his normal self. He seemed to be quite out of whack. And that's probably mostly down to Saturn. Saturn transiting his sign. Saturn was on his sun for quite a long time, and we can see that now Saturn is moving away from his sun, so it's about 10 degrees away now. He did start in his new club. The first couple games also not really successful, not scoring, missing opportunities, missing sitters. Although in the friendly game against Paris Saint-Germain, he did play rather well. And there was Messi in the same game in the opposite team, so that was quite a nice comparison. And I do think his chart shows that he's very much in the competitive mode again now, and it's a fresh start. Although we can see that Saturn, although it's moving away from the sun, it's still in his sun sign Aquarius for another couple of weeks. But it's right now, it's an exact square to his natal Saturn being very important as the midheaven ruler, where there's a bit of controversy around the birth time, but I do believe it's the midheaven ruler. So Saturn square Saturn, that's just a very big transit, showing that there's ongoing struggles. Like he feels like there's a lot of pressure on him to reestablish himself. People keep saying he's getting old, he's lost his touch, he's lost his mojo, he's not who he used to be, and he's kind of bowing. He should bow out basically rather sooner than later, which is all classic Saturn stuff. So that might be one of the key themes in his life currently. But knowing Cristiano, he loves a good challenge. He always loves challenges, and the more people the more people challenge him, or write bad things about him, or bad comments, or whatever the press writes, that normally the effect that has, it only fuels him. It only fuels his ambition, and he'll be like, right, I'm gonna show them, I'm not too old now. I still got it, I still got it, even though there's clearly there's a Saturn square going on. So obviously he's just made a big decision to go to a new club. We can also see that Pluto is touching his Jupiter here. He's in a completely different country. He's in a completely different culture. It's all Jupiter stuff. So he's got to adapt there, even though he's traveled to Qatar many times, and he's got a lot of friends there and has connections there. Huge fan base, obviously. People gave him a very warm, very enthusiastic, and supportive response when he was introduced. But at the same time, it's a brand new chapter. There's a lot of transformation going on. At the same time, Pluto is, going to square his natal Pluto as well. So that requires a lot of refocusing. And at the same time, we have Saturn square Saturn, and we have Pluto square Pluto. So it's all about these goals and ambitions, and then there may be a lot of doubt in him, even more in the subconscious. That's probably hard to tell unless we ask him. Like, did he really make the right choice? And it is quite a big task ahead of him, even though this is not a very competitive league if you compare it to European leagues. But it's still, there's a lot of expectation, and there's a lot of people that have talked about his choice, voicing surprise or disbelief at why he would do that, why he would go to that country, why didn't he try harder to find a club in Europe. Maybe he did try really hard, because we can see Saturn was on his sun, Saturn was squaring Saturn, so there's a lot of these big choices and commitments, and he obviously looked at every available option to him, so he could make the best choice in the end, and being very, very sure. So there may still be a bit of doubt, or it may just be the huge pressure of expectation that primarily he put on himself, really. Because he always wants to be the best. Um, he always wants to play, he always wants to score, and he always wants to win. So we can see that there's a lot of transformation going on in terms of probably his circumstances as well, and maybe also setting new important goals for himself. But of course, they need to be adapted to this new life chapter, because obviously he did just turn 38 just a few days ago, and so he can't ignore that. He certainly won't, but he will still. We can see that the planets currently are saying that he will still try to give his best performance every single time, and he will not let up. He even said, "Oh, my son asks me, please, Dad, hold on for a couple more years. I want to play with you." I mean, wow, that's just, just imagine that big Cristiano and little Cristiano. So wouldn't that be the dream? Okay. At the same time, we see Jupiter has crossed his ascendant again. So Jupiter in the first house, obviously, again, there's just been this relocation to a completely different country and culture. That's exciting, and that's in his nature. He's got strong Aries in his chart, so you probably really enjoy that, and all the exotic new impressions and surroundings, and meeting a lot of people. Maybe also the religion there is all very different. Obviously, his girlfriend, she's not allowed to wear, super sexy, super tight clothes as much as she would probably love to, because of regulations there. But at the same time, at least for him, it looks like he's in a period of expansion as well. And it's just a new start. It's a brand new ambition, but we can see there's a lot of pressure going on in the background in terms of setting goals and huge expectations, and facing probably all the past struggles. He will need a bit more time to put that past him entirely. Um, So hopefully this long Saturn phase, and now with the square, this long period without really scoring the amount of goals that people are really have become used to him scoring all the time. It's like a goal machine. um, Hopefully that period will be over and he becomes unstuck. He seemed like he was a bit stuck in the mud. He cut a very frustrating figure also in his last couple of games for United. Obviously, there was lots of struggle going on with the manager and being benched and all that. Even the World Cup as well. That was also quite disappointing for him playing for his country. So again, Saturn is really an indicator of disappointment sometimes, but that also means like, okay, what can I realistically expect of myself at this point? What am I capable of? Where's my inner growth stage? Where am I at right now? And of course, there's always movement, there's always progress. So I do believe he really has it in him to become really, really great and amazing again on the world stage. And that's also indicated by Jupiter now in his first house, and he's going to spend quite a long time in his first house. So I think I see this as the phase of adapting to the foreign country and new culture, and all the things that are new there, and adapting, and will really be a very positive energy for him, I hope. Jupiter should also be the ruler of the ninth house in his natal chart, which is also about foreign countries and foreign cultures. So hopefully he can really deep dive into that, and use it as fuel to fuel his ambition, his desire to just be the best all the time. So and just a few days ago, on the 9th, I believe, so just 2 days ago, it really seemed like slowly the gates are opening up, like the floodgates are opening up for him, and he scored 4 goals in one game. So that looks pretty good. Currently, Mars is also approaching the trine to his sun and sextile to his moon. And Mars, of course, is the sports planet, and it's in a very good position for him. So hopefully he's going to find his shooting boots again, and that will encourage him to keep going and just bit by bit pull him out of that phase that was really going on for quite a while now, probably for at least a year now, where things were not really going his way, and he seemed to be very, very stuck and very frustrated, and couldn't really. Maybe it was the environment, or there was just too much going wrong in the circumstances around him. And obviously, he was also going through a big, like a phase of personal um, growth and just experiencing limitations. It's Saturn on the Sun. So that dims the light. Saturn on the sun really dims the light, and that's happened. But I think he's going to make a full recovery, and he's going to have a resurrection. It's maybe Pluto's square Pluto, also maybe an indicator of that. It's Pluto activating Jupiter right now, so he will find his mojo again. And what's also interesting is that on his birthday, on the 5th, there was a full moon in Leo, which is exactly his birth constellation. And so that means that this full moon probably was also a period of, there was a lot of release going on, release of pressure of emotions, maybe. And I don't think it's a coincidence that shortly after this full moon, for the first time in a very, very long time, he has an amazing game, and he scores 4 goals in one game. So that must have activated something. Maybe it brought about really a shift in perspective, being able to let go of some pressure. He has a moon in Leo. He needs to be really in a playful mood. He needs to feel confident. So hopefully that has reminded him that there's no reason why he should give up on himself, why he should give up believing in himself, especially not with Jupiter in the first house, and trining the moon very soon, and also sextiling the sun. So there's all good stuff coming up for him. So I hope this was an extensive update. Oh, by the way, we want to address Uranus as well. So for a little while, there will be a bit of chaos. We'll still feel a bit unsettled, or like going back and forth between old patterns, old self, and new attitudes, new ways of looking at himself and his behavior, and what he can expect of himself and what he can't, and also it's about very much about free, unhindered, joyful self-expression, which is such a strong theme in his natal chart anyway. So yeah, so Uranus is going to square his full moon axis for a little while longer, but then it's not going to come back. No, it's not going to come back in exact square. So that is also going away. So in a month or two, there should be more and more relief being felt. Maybe this was also last year was also a time where he really had to feel like he needs to be able to really speak his truth, and even if he's being perceived as someone who's really disruptive. There's so many other public figures at the moment that are being considered disruptive, but they just all want to speak their truth and express their opinions authentically, which is exactly what he did. Also in that interview, and he didn't even say a lot of new things there. Many other players had voiced the same criticism before. So, but just there was kind of a liberating energy there, like a liberation process going on. Okay, folks. So I hope you like this. Please like the video, subscribe and share, and leave me a comment. And hopefully I'll see you very, very soon with a couple of interesting updates, obviously not just about Cristiano, but about many other things. Okay, bye bye for now.